Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Slime, Season 4.
Yep, Slime, Season 4, Episode 8. Welcome back to the Dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And, well, last time, Rimuru did the reverse chair thing. Haven't seen that in a while. That was something. He freed Glenda of her curse, and now has another subordinate or something, potentially. Whether he likes it or not, apparently. Also...
Yeah, he'll probably stick her under Soe.
Yeah, something like that. Last thing Soe needs is another fangirl, though. Oh god, do we really need 3 of them? But, actually, there's more than 3. Who are we kidding? We already know that. They broke that down last season when Gobta and Geld were pointing out Rimuru's hypocrisy. But the whole, the one thing I wanted to mention, that a lot of people might be, kind of like forgetting why Hinata is the way she is. She had a rough life before she got isekai.
Yeah.
The first bit of kindness she was ever shown was Shizu. So she is still very quick to want to kill people. So yeah, even then, like she pointed out, yeah, she could have just resurrected her or whatever, but still, there's a reason why Hinata is like that. You know, he had a really rough life pre-isekai, and you know, even with Shizu, she kind of had to deal with Yuki's bullshit in their training because they got isekai'd around the same time. So yeah, that was she definitely has her reasons for being. But yeah, that was just something I forgot to mention last time. But again, going forward for Slime, last time was the last one we'll be doing on Friday because now we'll be fully caught up and just be able to do the week-by-week thing as the dubs come out. And I don't want to be, like, staring at the dub on Friday going, man, I hope this comes out on Friday so we can, you know, record this weekend. You know what I mean? I'd rather look at it and go, oh, hey, you know, have that extra week just in case there's something, and we can just kind of point out, like, you know, hey, just in case we're not around, because we've super caught up and we used up our week buffer. You know what I mean? So, we're already caught up with Slime. That's great. And then we'll be continuing with the summer season once we finish up with ReZero and stuff. So there might be a week of only Slime, and then we'll have a video to just like random stuff like on gacha games or something that we wanted to talk about during the next couple weeks, because we don't know how the summer release is going to be. I'd expect stuff like Tanya will probably be simulcast, kind of like ReZero, since it's Katakawa and it's a big deal. You know what I mean? I'm not sure about Skeleton Knight. Bleach, I'd assume, will be simulcast, like, you know, dub and sub on the same time. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure all the previous cores were simulcast.
Yeah, so that should be okay. And then I don't remember the other show anymore. I don't remember what it was. It's gone. I don't know anything anymore. I know we're going to have to continue ReZero in August, so that's only going to be gone for about a month and a half once we finish it. So, yeah. I'll have to look at it, but I don't remember what it was. I'm bad at my job. I'm bad at my hobby. So, anyway, that being said, we're just going to push some buttons and get going here. You know, see what's up with this, and hopefully there's going to be some shenanigans. Stuff to think about. Diablo still has to come back with his acquaintance.
I'm still going to assume Violet until proven otherwise.
Fair enough. I have no idea. I don't see why it couldn't be her, though Violet was kind of a bitch, and in the extra, you know, side stuff that is Isekai Memories, she's not a huge fan of Diablo, so maybe.
She's not, but from everything we've gotten from the movies and stuff like that, it seems like they have a kind of a rivalry, like where we haven't really gotten any sort of established connection really between him and freaking John or Blanc.
Right.
Not Blanc, call it.
Yeah.
So it could be either of them once again, but once again, we haven't actually established that yet. So it'd be kind of weird to just pull them out of nowhere.
Right. And at some point, it would be nice to see some of the other like mainstays of Tempest, you know, like Rigurd, and we mentioned Gabiru last time in the reaction, like, hey, where's Gabiru? In passing, that kind of thing. So at some point, it'd be nice to see those characters again, what they're up to. But yeah, other than that, we'll just have to see. And at some point, we'll probably get back to Luminous rubbing her naked body against the frozen form of what we assume is freaking Chloe. So that whole time paradox thing is going to happen at some point, right? So either way, I'm up for whatever. So let's push some buttons and get going here. So people on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the time reaction, and people on YouTube Beyond, we'll see you on the other side for the discussion and review. And all the links are down there in the description. Check them out. Check out the Patreon stuff. It's completely free. Just click on the link and watch the timer reaction if you want to check those out. And, you know, Twitch is back up and running again. I'll be doing live streams every week. Not as much as I did before, but I will, at the very least, definitely do Fridays with 47 Hitman Elusive Target shenanigans when that's around. And all the other elusive targets that I still haven't done in the game that are just part of the base game, I want to do that. I want to get to Hades 2, that kind of thing. And then when I'm not live, all of our past stuff will just be kind of rolling around for you guys to check out if you haven't seen it, and all the stuff that, you know, isn't on this channel because it was part of the other channel that got boinked, and, you know, as opposed to just re-uploading everything to this channel, I'll just let it cycle on Twitch and people can just watch it as like a rerun TV thing.
Yeah. Still also need to get around to freaking Persona 3 at some point. But yeah, as far as Hades goes, once again, I still haven't gotten around to actually playing it since 1.0, but the freaking the early access I played pretty extensively, and it was quite good.
Right. So anyway, we're going to push some buttons and get going here, so here goes something. Well, alrighty then, there you guys have it. We have some stuff to say about this one. I'll start this off by, you guys see at the end? I thought somebody mentioned that the Dark Elves were completely wiped out, but those were totally Dark Elves right there at the end of the episode. So I guess some of them survived. So Clayman is a freaking liar. Which, to be fair, there's always going to be like that kind of like tropey, stereotypical thing of like, yes, we wiped that race out, but there's always probably going to be like a small pocket like that were like living over here or something that they didn't know about, or they escaped and, you know, there's a couple of them left or something. You know,
they've just been in a fallout shelter this whole time.
Yeah, they've just been in a fallout shelter the whole time. Whatever. They're also elves, you know what I mean? So they probably could have potentially lived as long since as the fall of the stave, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I said it mostly jokingly, but they literally could have just been a handful of them were in a fallout shelter because of the like advanced technology that they had, and just recently came out.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what we get more on them, because this whole ruin situation here was the Kingdom of Soma that Clayman built Distave on top of, which was the nation that triggered the angel attack last time in the last cycle. So how Luminous points it out or explains it is the fact that the angels go after, the fact that I didn't push that button, that's what they go after. They go after the most advanced civilization to reset them so that it doesn't like spread everywhere and allow too much technological advancement. It's not kind of like, we kind of like compared them to like the Reapers in Mass Effect, where the Reapers reset the whole freaking galaxy and ignore, like, say, how they ignored humanity the first time in Mass Effect. In this, they don't wipe out the entire planet. They just kind of like go to the most technologically advanced nation and wipe them out. And that's what they did to Soma.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Reapers, where it's just they wait until technology passes a certain point, it's like right here, and then once the technology passes that certain point, they go and they wipe out anything that's above here.
Yeah. So, based on everything we got on Soma, they were far ahead of everybody else, and based on
even more advanced than Tempest at the moment.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they were talking about like what sounds like a perpetual like closed loop reactor system that has like the classic like pie in the sky theorized energy sources that are like they just there's like a closed loop and they're infinite, those kinds of things. That's what they made it sound like, because at the very least they said it ran the entire country, or at the very least that city right there. So that's a pretty big deal. Even a single power source running an entire city, even a average size city, that's a lot of power. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to see what they get on that. The other thing to note about that is apparently whatever these defenses are that can be activated, Kigali, I forget what her actual original demon lord name. It was. She was a death man and also a guy before, but it was damn it. They said it like one time, and Kazalim, because I know it was close to Kigali. That's what it was. It was Demon Lord Kazalim. But it'll be interesting to see like why they're able to activate these defenses here. You know what I mean? Because they've never really got into that. So that'll be kind of something interesting to see what happens here, because both sides they're not aware of what's happening, but the one side is planning to attack Rimuru, but then Rimuru is on the other side of like, if it is a trap, we'll be ready for it. So this whole situation is so messed up from every different angle because of like misinterpretations of what's going on, that it's actually kind of hilarious now that this is the way it's playing out, because us as the viewer, we know how powerful Tempest is, right? And everything that Rimuru's been doing. However, after this whole Glenda thing, and we got some comedy here with the slime logos, which is always hilarious, and you gotta appreciate the comedy with Hinata on these situations. Like, you asked for this. It's like, he doesn't ask for any of this. It just happens. Okay?
He's actually asked for them to tone it down.
Yeah. He literally points out at certain points, like, I don't want the commercialization of me becoming a thing. Like in the game, like whenever you talk to Sophia, she's like, yeah, I want to get like a Rimuru like plush pillow kind of thing. He's like, yeah, I don't want that to become a thing. So yeah, it's just this kind of stuff just kind of happens. So there is nothing he can really do. But I did appreciate them going into like how, they haven't established the currency system, so they work off of merit and point systems, and you earn points and stuff like that. It's not a bad, way to run a society. Like Hinata points out, that's how Lubelius does it. It's just like, you bake bread for me, so I'll paint your house. That kind of thing. That's how that system works. So everybody gets what they need, and it's not really a currency-based system kind of situation. Kind of everybody does a job, and it works that way. You know what I mean? Because everybody's fine with it. It just works for them. But at the end of the day, this was kind of an interesting situation for what it was. And you got to appreciate the comedy that they stuck in here for Glenda, which I will point out, the one thing I did notice about her eating, besides just, the classic, infinite amount of food on her plate until she's finished situation. She was eating with her fork like this.
Yeah.
Generally you eat with a fork like this, but she was going full just you know what I mean? That was an absolute good one. But to be fair, I mean, another thing that Rimuru has brought to the world here is much better cuisine, generally speaking. Yeah, you had guys like Yoshida and Angracia and, certain other like big time chefs out there, but the average everyday people weren't eating like this, like what you get at like a pretty solid restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they had quality food in the world. It's just, it was a luxury that very few people actually got access to, because people like Yoshida were backed up for months or even years by royalty and shit like that. Like the whole thing, like that was the whole thing with the freaking So Amicia, she basically had like exclusive rights to Yoshida.
Yeah,
the freaking Elf Queen.
right. So this whole sequence was pretty damn hilarious. Like even like you see some of the other people that we saw, like these guys at the bottom table here. I believe they were like the kind of beast folk that were like remnants of like Claimant's army that like Rimuru used and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to see those kind of like callbacks to situations like where they're just like part of Tempest now, that kind of thing. But everybody just kind of reacting to her like just like, what's up with that? Has she never eaten food before?
Which we know with how much friggin' the Rotsos looked down on Summons, she probably wasn't eating very well to begin with.
Right. So to that end, since we're still on Glenda, it should be noted that Maribel is under the assumption that she's dead because the tether's gone. Which, generally speaking, that's usually how that works. If your tether's gone, you're not gonna go to, oh, somebody broke the curse. You know what I mean? Clearly, she's still alive, and Rimuru did a thing. The immediate thing is because of her misunderstanding of Rimuru's actual intention, which was the other part of this whole sequence here, was Benimaru eating another freaking parfait aside, they were all under the assumption that he was trying to push that kind of agenda that Maribel is worried about. You know what I mean? And he's just like, and then he proceeds to just be like, that's not what I'm doing. And it's like, from the outside, that looks like what you're doing.
Well, he did let slip that there was some eventual takeover plans, but that's not what his actual like primary intention is.
Yeah. But still, that's where the misunderstanding from Maribel's side comes from, and that's why she's going to the extreme lengths that she is now going to, deploying the dragon against Malim here, whatever else they're gonna drop on them in the ruins here, that kind of thing. Whatever Kaga, I guess I'll just call her Kagali because that's her current alias. So we all know who I'm talking about. If they are capable of like activating some kind of crazy tech against Rimuru, that's like maybe there's like a classic like magic dampening thing that's different. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, something that can like suppress powerful beings. That's something that Fuse has written into his original stuff in Isekai Memories, is some like very hardcore suppression stuff that brings down the power levels of very powerful beings like Rimuru and Benimaru and all the other like top tier fighters in Tempest. Is these like weird.
We already even have in this an established thing, because like that was how they managed to kill Shion and a bunch of people in Tempest in the first place, was because they employed a mana dampening field over Tempest.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if Soma had something like that, which it wouldn't be surprising if they did. You know what I mean? From a tech standpoint. But we'll just have to see what the deal is with that. But this whole sequence was interesting for what it was. And once again, Gobta should have just walked away. He was this close to just being able to escape and not have to worry about it, but then he had to be the good guy and point out, hey man, didn't you have that whole appointment thing and you're going to go to the ruins and break a promise to Malim, and that's just going to be bad for your health in general? And now,
which,
you know,
once again, freaking he promised Malim, so Gobta didn't even have to stick out his neck, because Malim would have.
She would have just showed up. She would have just showed up and been like, "Hey, Rimuru, we're gonna go do that thing, right?" And then he would have gotten RKO'd by it. But it's not like it would have changed much. We all saw what happened. He opened a freaking gate to the stave, and they all went there in half a second. So it's not like it would have been that big of a deal. The only thing that this really allotted for was besides the whole Shion having too much personality to get her own explorer outfit, was the fact that now Dord is making firearms as the jeweler. And we talked about that a little bit at the end of the reaction too, is like that goes hand in hand with jewel making. It's very intricate small pieces for any kind of firearm and electronics, that kind of thing. So it's the kind of the next tier of jeweler stuff. So him being the one working on it and hooking Gobta up with his new sweet sidearm that he totally doesn't need, because once again, the people that I was giving shit to saying like, oh, you know, guns in this world don't make sense and blah, blah, blah and whatnot. It's like, from the technological progress standpoint, they make sense. But yes, they don't make sense to use because, as Raymaru points out in this episode, they're already OP. So they would need... The only thing a gun really does for them here is if they have an ability like Glenda. You know what I mean? They could use it to like augment an ability and, you know, make it, you know, in it, do something that wouldn't be, you know, suspected in this world. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So
yeah, Glenda had kind of her niche with the whole thing of her like spatial unique skill, and then, you know, being skilled at the whole freaking mana forging items, so she can make like the mana bullets, and the guns themselves are mana.
Yeah. But either way, now they have some cool what equate to pop guns and BB guns to use on people as a distraction, I guess. I mean, they did say these were like magically enhanced and stuff like that, so they're probably better than your bog standard, you know, 9mm Glock. But still, they definitely don't need it. It's just kind of like an extra thing to just kind of whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, we did see what the, like, Glenda's mana bullets were enough to, like, actually do significant damage to Zoe's clones. But, once again, yeah, they don't need it. It's like Rebrew said, it's just sometimes you want something to swing around.
Pretty much. So, you might as well look cool and put on, like, a Matrix trench coat and come out there looking like Morpheus, right? But... either way, it'll be interesting to see if they do anything more with the firearm stuff. But once again, I just think it's funny from the standpoint of literally 2 years ago, in universe time, the goblins were full like Stone Age, and now here we got Gobta with a freaking 9mm. 2 years to get from Stone Age to handguns. Oh boy. You're skipping a lot of stuff there, buddy. So that's definitely something that I find personally hilarious. As for the rest of it, you know, it was totally fine. Yuki made it sound like he wasn't going. So I kind of eyebrow raise at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was something I was kind of questioning too. He mentioned he's not like going on the expedition at least, but he's still probably part of the ambush itself.
We'll just have to see if that's just what that meant. I assume that's what that meant. So it's probably not that big of a deal. But either way, going forward, it was kind of mentioned here that, you know, them packing up all these carriages and stuff like that to get from Ingracia to Distave. It's like, oh yeah, this should have taken 2 months. Meanwhile, 10 seconds later, and one big-ass embellishing freaking demonic gateway later. I mean, look at this thing. Looking like the Gate of Truth from FMA. But this is kind of like similar to what... this is kind of similar to what Guy used. Well, it wasn't really Guy using it. It was Rain and Mercy that used it. But they used something like this, and then Luminous used something like this when she showed up to... RKO the 7 days. But once again, I think this was far more for show because, again, they have transport magic. Like, Hinata used it in this episode to go from point to point. So I think this was just kind of for show and to just let people walk through without having to use the transport magic. I don't know what the difference between these two things is. Well, one's a big ass gate that you walk through and you end up in your destination, and the other one you just kind of stand near each other and the caster activates it and everybody goes to where the caster says to go.
Well, so there is a distinction. Gate magic is an established thing. Transport magic is personal teleportation, like you yourself teleport.
Yeah.
The whole thing of Reaver being able to teleport other people isn't a widespread thing. That was the whole thing of, like, normally if you're transporting something other than yourself, it has to be like inanimate objects. It can't be other people, because if other people are too intricate, you'll fuck something up and cause like irreparable damage to the person.
Right.
It's only because of Raphael that Rimuru was able to transport like the armies when they were dealing with the claimants' forces and stuff like that. So like this is probably just a case of he doesn't want to be widespread knowledge that he's capable of using transport magic on other people.
Yeah, so fair enough. But either way, at the end of this, we got this, which I mentioned at the end of the reaction. Weren't you guys supposed to be wiped out? Clayman couldn't do anything right, apparently. But if these were the former inhabitants of Distave and the descendants of the Kingdom of Soma, Age pointed out that maybe they were in a fallout shelter or something. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see if they explain where these dark elves came from, because it was pointed out before that they are supposed to be extinct. But they're clearly standing right here. And these are clearly dark elves. So what happened there? I'm just going to assume more claimant incompetence.
I think there was something, I don't remember, but I think there was something mentioned about how like the claimant did have like some of the dark elves still enslaved or something like that. But I can't remember. It's been a long time. It might have been like something that was offhandedly said that like there was a small amount of the population left that he had enslaved or something.
Yeah. Either way.
But it also, once again, because of how technologically advanced they were, it could have just been a fallout shelter.
So it will be interesting to see what happens, but it appears that we're pushing quickly toward what could be the end of the Maribel arc here, because once this ambush is, Maribel has pushed her chips all in. She's gone all in. There's nothing after using the Chaos Dragon on them, you know what I mean, and going after Rimuru here. They either succeed or they lose, you know what I mean? There's no coming back from this, so I can't imagine this is somehow going to last another 16 episodes. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I assume the Maribel thing here will be just the first core, and the second core will be whatever the story after this is. So.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I think this is like in between. I think this is going to kind of end up being a thing of Maribel is going to just keep exerting herself trying to counter Rimuru. And she's gonna like bring herself to her wit's end, and then she's gonna actually finally meet Rimuru and realize that she was basically just doing this all against herself the whole time.
Right. So that is what it is. But once again, based on who she was in her past life, can you really blame her for thinking the way she does? Especially, like they said, this is what it looks like from the outside, Rimuru. So. You never know, and especially Rimuru being a demon lord, again, it could just be a ploy to just completely take over. So you're always probably going to assume the worst. You're not going to take somebody at their face value. They could do everything that Rimuru did and then just be like, okay, I finally got to this position. Now I have what I need. Now I'm just going to freaking lay the hammer down and take over everything. So.
Yeah, which, like, once again, like, Maribel's whole thing is that she figures that he is playing the long game, and he's just going to basically make the Western nations economically dependent on him, so that way he has ultimate say over everything.
Yep. So, anyway.
Which it is partially the plan, it's just not the immediate plan.
Yeah. He's not looking to make everybody 3/5 of a person out there. But yeah, this was another solid episode. It had its moments and stuff like that, and we'll just have to see what happens in the ruins here. Whether we get at least something on like what Soma used to be, maybe some hints at the angel stuff. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of like probably like the final boss territory kind of situation of the series. But you know, yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I know at some point or another we have to get to the rest of the true dragons as well. So once again, we still see Veldora and Velzard. Velzard just kind of seems pretty isolationist.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's all I got for this one. It was solid. It was fine. I enjoyed it. So, anything else, Age?
Yeah, we have the true dragons. The rest of the primordial demons to get to, the angels. Like, there's still plenty of stuff even beyond this. But
once again, we still pretty much half the series to go, even at this point.
Whatever the freaking Empire's doing.
Yeah, whatever the Empire's doing, probably, maybe, who knows. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond have you watching. As always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out here in the dojo for more anime night in the dojo in this world. Slime, Season 4, Episode 8. Once again, we'll be going to the single episode format starting next Monday because we're caught up now. We can't do 2 anymore. We're caught up, so we're good. So there won't be Slime on Friday. It's just on Mondays. That's the day it was slotted for, and then we'll be starting the summer season stuff here in a couple weeks. So yeah, it all lined up pretty okay, and we were able to catch up, and it should be fine. Fine, just fine. So everybody have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.